Hello, I'm Earl Wyenberg. I'll be reading the children's books of Charles Fox Phillips. Mr. Phillips lived in Louisiana on the bayou. The bayou is a stretch of marshy land near the sea, and he drew his inspiration from it, the animals especially. He wrote and illustrated these books himself. A kindly old lady owned 89 dogs, plus 33 chickens and 44 hogs. So she sent out a plea to numerous lands to help feed all the pets she had on her hands. The Princess of Persia sent rubies to munch, and the King of Siam sent raspberry punch. The Empress of Persia sent carloads of cake, but the Queen of Sheba said let them eat steak. So the old lady filled 2 huge wooden kegs with rubies and cake crumbs and 33 eggs. She mixed them together, then added the punch, and called her creation Red Raspberry Crunch. She served hearty helpings to all of her dogs, her 33 chickens and 44 hogs. This dish, clucked the chicks, is simply delicious. It's tasty, tender, and no doubt nutritious. Red Raspberry Crunch rates 4 oinks, squealed the hogs. It's great, it's superb, yelped the 89 dogs. The old lady beamed at her pets. Then she said, a splendid idea just popped into my head. If we filled up 5,000 huge wooden kegs with rubies and cake crumbs and 600 eggs, then mixed them with gallons of raspberry punch, we could sell my scrumptious Red Raspberry Crunch. The kindly old lady and all of her dogs, her 33 chickens and 44 hogs, filled each of the 5,000 huge wooden kegs with rubies and cake crumbs and 600 eggs. When they'd added gallons of raspberry punch, they opened a store for Red Raspberry Crunch. The demand for their product rapidly grew, and soon they owned stores from Tibet to Yazoo. The old lady built a large house for her dogs and a pen with a pool for all of her hogs. For her chickens, she built a 10-story coop with a 3-car garage and a vine-covered stoop. Most pets would be thankful, I'd think, wouldn't you, for having full stomachs and new houses, too? But much to the kindly old lady's dismay, they behaved in a most deplorable way. The dogs said, we'll gladly mind all the stores, but we feel it beneath us to sweep their floors. The chickens complained that their work took too long. We must pamper ourselves, we're not very strong. The hogs said, we'll make more Red Raspberry Crunch right after a swim and a leisurely brunch. The old lady frowned at each ungrateful pet. Then she flew to Bengal on a non-stop jet. She returned from abroad with 300 frogs, whom she introduced to her dogs, chicks, and hogs. Please greet your new roommates, the old lady said, and see that they're comfortably housed and well fed. Make certain they're never too warm nor too cool, so before you relax or swim in your pool, be sure your guests have a wonderful visit. Now that's not too much to ask of you, is it? Next morning, the old lady's 89 dogs, her 33 chickens, and 44 hogs pecked at her windows and banged hard on her doors. Old lady, they chorused, we'll work in your stores. We'll do anything rather than live with frogs, cried the 33 chicks and 89 dogs. They jump in and out of our pools, squealed the hogs. Please send them back to their Bengalese bogs. They keep us awake, growled the dogs. We can't sleep. They croak and they splash, they wharumph and they leap. Hush, said the lady, there's no need to despond. I'll see that the frogs have their very own pond. But from now on, my pets, you must promise me that you'll not put on airs, but work willingly. We certainly shall, cried the 89 dogs, the 33 chickens, and each of the hogs. So the kindly old lady and all her dogs, her 33 chickens, and 44 hogs continued to make their Red Raspberry Crunch. Can you guess what they served to the frogs for lunch? That story, in its verse, sounds to me a lot like Dr. Seuss, and in its story reminds me of the story of the little red hen who asked all the other animals to help her bake bread and was refused. So Mr. Phillips, just like the little old lady, took ingredients from other places, and just like the little old lady, made a nice batch of red raspberry crunch.